to the time, there were 5 little bears.
Elizabeth Bear, Samantha Bear, Logan Bear, Ryan Bear, and Eli Bear.
Hi, Dr. Moyer. We're the Codiak Bears.
We're looking for honey and bees. Can you help us?
Well, here at Willow Lane Elementary School in Macungie, we take pride in our outdoor garden and nature. Well, in the Lehigh Valley, we have a lot of resources that you could tap into. Why don't you try the Wildlands Conservancy? You could try the Lehigh Valley Beekeepers Association. You could even try the Da Vinci Center.
I'm very well, thank you.
All right.
I'm out on the roof of Ewell's Oyster House, and I'll turn around. You can see, obviously, I have the beehives outside, and the roof is a good place for them. And what I'll do is let me just turn the phone around. The setup we have here.
All right.
Down here is the inside of a beehive. The queen bee will lay an egg in each one of these cells.
As you heard, I'm Eli. We actually just entered a robotics competition, and we're in the finals. And
Excellent, congratulations.
Thank you. And the theme of it is endangered animals, and we're the Codiak Bears, and as you know, bears love honey. So we were, and bees are actually, they're not on the endangered species list, but they're rapidly decreasing worldwide. So, and what you're doing with your beehives is great support for the bees.
4 years ago, we had a fire. In fact, it's almost the anniversary. It was January 13th or something like that. And a fire started here in the middle of the night, and it burned the entire building down. And I had about 12 beehives on the roof of the restaurant, and I just assumed that they were all destroyed. Not only was the building burning, they were spraying water on it. It was like 7 degrees out that night. The whole building collapsed. And I was over here the next day, and I looked, and I saw some of the boxes from the beehives that were kind of intact. They were in the rubble. And I looked, I thought I could salvage some of the beehives and use them for new bees. And when I looked, there were 2 colonies that actually were alive inside the boxes. In fact, they were like smashed. They were like half in, half out of the cold. So I took them, I put them in a new box, I moved them to a new location, and I was able to save those bees. And they're some of the ones I use today in addition to other ones. So we rebuilt the restaurant. Now I have more bees on the roof of the restaurant.
And another question, how did you start selling honey at your restaurant?
Well, everyone loves honey.
Thank you for your time. It's much appreciated.
Absolutely. Good luck on your project.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Great.
Dash feels great because he was the focus of all our missions. He's really appreciative of Wonder Workshop for making this competition. So have the dots. The dots here are really excited for this interview.
I feel successful from finishing all 5 of the missions.
We've been searching for some honey, but sadly we haven't found much. What do bears eat in Macungie, PA, like other than honey?
Well, bears eat lots of things. Bears are omnivores. Bears eat more plants than they do animals, and they really only resort to the animals, such as the bees, when there's no other food sources available.
Has your apiary ever been attacked by a bear?
My apiary has been attacked by a bear several times. The first time, I didn't have any barrier up, so the bears came in. They knocked over my hives, got the bees very angry, and they ate some of the honey and the larvae. Pollinator's an animal that moves from plant to plant and to help make fruit and seeds. They move the pollen from one part of the flower to another part of the plant. So if we lose bees, we lose the plants that they pollinate. Which means that bears and other animals that we eat, or other animals that eat plants, would also suffer and die. So bees are real important to bees and to us as well. So without them, we'll have half the amount of fruit and vegetables available. Look on your project.
Thank you. Bye.
We focused on one code and kept adding things if it didn't work and see what was wrong as a team. Took other members' opinions to hear and to experience listening to their ideas. Sometimes we didn't cooperate because they wanted to do one thing, but we wanted to do another thing.
Yeah, and we couldn't decide on which to do.
Yeah, so
But everything worked out in the end.
everything worked out at the end.
I went online and found out some information about a naturalist from the Wildlands Conservancy who is very good with bee conservation and implements in-school and community-based programming. In 2016, Brittany oversaw the installation of a native pollinator garden at Pool Wildlife Sanctuary and delivered presentations on how to create backyard and schoolyard habitat. Brittany's past experience at Rodale Institute and Saints Rodale Institute Organic Farm has provided valuable insight into honeybee conservation, organic growing, and best management practices. Let's Skype with her.
Hello.
Hi.
We're bears.
Hi, we're the Codiak Bears from the Wonder League Robotics competition. We've been looking for bees and honey, but we found that there's not many in the Lehigh Valley. Can you help us?
Of course. So when you guys think of bees, I'm sure you think right away of honey, but actually the 4,000 bees native to America, meaning that they've been here for thousands of years, most of them do not produce honey. The honeybee that you're thinking of, the European honeybee, it's only been here for about 400 years. So that bee was brought over with the first settlers, and they used it to, again, have the honey from the honeybee and have the beeswax. But the bees that have always lived here are native bees, which are solitary, so they live on their own, and any honey that they produce is called a honey pot, and they only build that in spring for their baby bees. They don't build it, they don't build as much of it as the honeybees from Europe do. So right now, if you guys go looking for bees and honey, you're not going to find much because the bees are either underground hibernating, they have died off, and just the babies are left underground growing and developing, or they are honeybees and they bunkered down in a hive where they're going to stay warm and wait for the weather to warm up before they come back outside. Bees don't like to fly when it's colder than 50 degrees out, and even if they did come out, none of the flowers are blooming, so they wouldn't have any food. So you guys would definitely have to wait until spring to find that honey and find the bees.
So what caused the bees to decrease? Like, what happened?
Okay, so in 2006, kind of like a mystery, but in 2006, all of a sudden, about a third of the honeybees in the whole entire United States, they started disappearing. Year after year, beekeepers would come out into their hives, and all of a sudden, their bees wouldn't be there anymore. And they weren't sure why this was happening. Sometimes they would find the bodies of dead bees inside the hive, but sometimes the bees would just vanish, and they had no idea why. And so scientists gave this whole phenomenon that was happening, they gave it this umbrella term. They called it colony collapse disorder. What it means is we notice that the bees are dying, but we don't really know why. It could be disease, it could be mite, or it could be other things like pesticides, which are a chemical that can hurt the brains of bees and also affect their nervous system.
Is there anything that we can do to prevent this?
Yep, so just like the Codiak Bears in Alaska, bees need habitat. That's one of the best things you can do.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for calling.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Bye.
We tried to combine the ideas and just like stay
Tried.
cool.
Yeah, we tried everyone's ideas to see which one worked, and even if say we tried the first one, the boys one, and if it worked, we still got to try ours just in case. ours worked better.
Dash
You
didn't
sense dots all the time, and it didn't sense them all the time, so it took a long time to figure it out.
And you needed one code for all 3 locations.
Yeah, and just to get the camera to catch it was very
Hi,
hard.
Dr. Smith. Thank you for FaceTiming with us. We're the Codiak Bears, and we're in search for bees. Can you point us in the right direction?
There are sort of two groups of bees, right? There are bees that live in the wild. They have hives in places like old dead trees, and there are a number of different species, so they're not all exactly the same kind of bee. And then there are the bees that beekeepers keep to pollinate crops, the honeybees, and those are the ones that people have talked about a lot. And those you would find on farms and other places where people need them to do pollination. We have a hive here at the Da Vinci Science Center, so we keep bees here, but only during the summer.
Dash didn't always sense dot, so some things that we did were like shut dash and dot off for 7 seconds and held the power off button, and it normally worked the next time.
Also did a stop and do nothing, so he had time to sense dot.
Put the timer on, so we had 2 options. If he didn't see dot, then he would head pan 90 degrees. But if he saw dot in a specific position, then he would turn or either back up and move on to the next ping pong ball.
And Dash would stop at X number of centimeters, then check for dot, and if dot was not there, then move forward X number of centimeters, and then do the head pan 9. Hi, Sharon Zondag. I'm Eli from the Codiak Bears, and we heard you're a 4th generation beekeeper and the head beekeeper at Northampton Community College. As a Codiak Bear, me and my team have been searching for honey, but we haven't had much luck. Can you help us?
Well, sure, I can probably help you. I'm not sure if I want to, though, because the last thing I want in my beehives is bears.
We're very nice bears.
You're
Very
nice
bears.
You still want honey, right? So at Northampton Community College, I have 7 hives, Eli. And I keep 2 beehives at home, at my home in Bethlehem. And every year my bees produce about 700 to 800 pounds of honey. And I leave that in the hives for them so they can get through the winter, because right now they're in the hives shivering to stay warm. They don't actually hibernate, they shiver to stay warm. And they need all that honey as a carbohydrate to have energy to be able to shiver like you would if you were cold. And I take half of the honey, so I have about 400 pounds that I sell. So if you wanted to buy honey from me, Codiak Bears, you could do that. Or if you were lucky enough to find...
You have in the 7 beehives.
That's a very good question. And every single hive has around, if it's a healthy hive, has around 60 to 70,000 bees. So if I have, right now I have 9 hives. Can you tell me how many bees I have?
540,000.
540,000.
About 9 hives and 70,000 bees, or 60,000. Let's say 70,000 is a good number. In some places, even in the Lehigh Valley, some of my fellow beekeepers have to have bear fences in order to keep the bears away, because they want what you asked me for originally, which was honey. Also, skunks sit outside of a hive and they scratch the hive and they make the bees fly out, and then they sit there and they grab them and they eat them as they fly out. There are other bacteria and viruses that impact the hive.
Have you ever seen a bear attacking your hive or something like that?
No, I haven't had a bear attack my hives, but a professor at Northampton Community College lost all of his hives. He lives right up on Route 33, not far from where I live.
Like, we're the Codiak Bears, and we like honey. Is there any advice you could give to us where to find honey other than the grocery store?
Farmer's market. In the woods, if you could find natural beehives, you know, they live in trees or other cavities, so that would work. But anytime you're in the natural world, you're taking honey from the bees. It's all part of the natural order, right? You're very welcome. I enjoyed meeting you all, and I hope you Kodiak Bears find some honey somewhere. I just hope it's not from my hives.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thanks for all the information. Bye.
Oh, my pleasure. Good luck with your competition.
Thank you.
It's just really fun working all together and solving the missions, and knowing when you solve the missions that the hard work paid off.
And like, if you win first place, there's usually like a big prize.
So you always look forward to that.
Yeah. And working with team members and getting to know them and their abilities is good.
Like knowing each other's strengths, what they were good at and what they weren't so good at.
And what others were better at their.
This is Miss B from Willow Lane Elementary School. She's a queen bee.
And this is my beekeeper and her little smoker.
Codiak Bears, and we hear you're a queen bee. We'd like to know something about you.
Well, it's very exciting to be interviewed. My little beekeeper here, one way she can get honey is with her smoker. She can shoot smoke out at the bees. They don't like that so much, so they leave, which risks our beekeeper being stung. The scientists, we're talking about innovation here in first grade, and one of the innovations was not to use a smoker, but this other kind of bee box. Another innovation that came up that you guys would be really interested in because you're Codiak Bears, I was going to say coding. There is a drone that they're inventing to go from flower to flower to flower. Now the good news is if the bees decline, the drones can take their place. The bad news is that these drones are having a hard time picking up the nectar and they're damaging plants. So innovation can be good, but nature can be better. So we need to protect our bees. Bees are being in decline because they're being poisoned with chemicals, which is an innovation to help farmers, but not for the bees. Aiden.
Don't step on any that are on the ground.
Don't step on the bees. So our young innovators are going to think of ways we can save bees.
This is our coach, Mrs. Dweck.
Solving
Mission 5.
It was very hard, and once we found out that we actually solved it, it was
Yeah, it took a while to solve.
5-6 weeks.
Yeah,
That's a long time.
really like
happy,
having
like,
the feeling of accomplishing Mission 5. It's like you want to run around and scream everywhere.
Like Eli knows a lot about it, so he told them more about it.
And Eli explained some of the codes to us so we could get an understanding of how to
Use different codes and sensors
and
scene cues.
Yeah. Well, there's like a feeling that people are depending on you. Teaching them is sometimes fun, and if they get stressed out, we can like have a moment to calm down, and when we show others, they learn from it, and then it's not so hard with the explaining.
Don't give up, just keep trying.
And if it gets hard, like, because Mission 5 was really hard, you just have to keep trying, and it pays off at the end.
And you should listen to others' ideas and learn from experiences.
Try to combine the ideas, like if one person has this idea and this other person has another idea, try to combine them to make a code.
And also, little kids maybe that are watching this right now could depend on knowledge and friends, and it's fun, so it's not complete 100% serious. Staying focused even when it gets hard. Persevere. Trying your best. And if things don't go the right way, funny things will in the middle, and when we accomplished videos, Eli would jump out and do a
And
little
like,
dance or go
yeah,
boom
like-
or something like that.
Yeah, he jumps up and jumps up and do like Irish jigs and stuff.
Yeah.
And he goes crazy and stuff.
For me, the most surprising part was learning what like the prize was if you won first place.
Yeah.
$5,000 for your team.
1,000 for
To
each of
split.
us, and we could all use it
Split
towards
on
college.
STEM technology. Dad works at the High Valley Health Network. He receives emails and he's on call most of the time. And so you have to be like experienced with computers and send advice on to others.
Future, there might be the only jobs could be like programming, like hover car.
Years I'll probably be out of college. I'll study like coding, and this experience would help me later on in life with that, and it could just help with life in general, because if you have to have a project on the computer and you have to learn how to like add things onto it and you don't know how to, you can always use this experience on how to learn how to do that.
Well, I'll probably be working at maybe like a robot place, like a
Maybe at
Workshop?
workshop.
Apple Store, Wonder Workshop.
like that has to do with electronics, because from Wonder Workshop right now, coding, there's creating and knowing what Dash is capable of. So maybe in 15 years I'll be programming and showing younger kids how to program with other robots, or maybe I'll be an engineer like that creates robots, and
You could create Dash and Dot.
they're already
I might be working in architectural structuring. You need to learn code because everything is computer based these days, and you have to know types of code and type them in to store your design in the data file or database.
Probably working on creating new robots for someone. Maybe Wonder Workshop, creating new attachments for Dash and Dot.
Again, big thanks from Dash and big thanks from Dot for Wonder Workshop for creating this robotics competition.
and making it very fun and interesting and a learning experience for everyone.
Bye.